Keith Hernandez at 11 o'clock. Do a little baseball, a lot of football later in the show. Obviously, NFL divisional round matchups. But congratulations to Julius Randle. Do we have a trophy? Is there already? I think we had some trophies at our old studio down the hall that Gottlieb left here. Go and get the trophy, okay, and ship it to 2 Penn, care of Julius Randle, all right, because he has now earned the award for the most precipitous fall from grace of any New York athlete in recent history. Yeah. Congratulations. Julius, come on up and get your award, pal. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, Julius Randle, everybody.
Let me ask you, BT, is it you? Who do you blame more for what's happening with the New York Knicks right now? Is it the Julius Randles of the world, and that includes Evan Fournier, who was terrible as well last night, or is this on Tom Thibodeau? Who deserves most of the blame? Because when I watch this Knicks team, especially when they have nights like they had last night, I kept asking, what's the identity of this team? Like, what do they want to be? Who are they? Where are they heading? What's the path that they're on right now? And sometimes it just feels like they're waffling. It's like they're just going through the motions. They come out and get blitzed after halftime. What was it, 32-12 or something after the half? I mean, it was ridiculous.
After the first quarter?
No.
Knicks did have 12 points at the half.
No, after the half, the run.
Oh, I got you. My bad.
After the half. It was just like.
That was disgraceful.
What'd you say in the locker room? Hey, guys, go get anybody have any cigarettes you want to smoke?
Yeah, light them up.
Right?
I mean, it's certainly not victory cigars going around these days with the Knicks.
There's a bar around the corner at MSG. Go have a couple cocktails.
A couple of good Irish pubs.
It came out flat as hell.
Awful.
After going in with some energy because Julius Randle got teed up and he got his first points and whatever it was. But you thought that would be galvanizing in a way.
Yeah.
It was gross.
I don't know where to slap the blame. Let me at least get, it's going to go at Randle full throttle in a moment, but where do I throw the blame? You just asked me.
Yes.
Like, okay, a little bit of Leon Rose. They probably, let's say it, I know he's not being used properly. They probably drafted the wrong guy with Toppin. All right. Halliburton should have been the pick. It wasn't. We don't need to revisit that. They signed some wrong free agents. That's you got to look at management for that. You got to look at Leon Rose, etc.
Yep.
Bad free agent signings. Fournier's been awful. Now, thankfully, he didn't get the max, but you gave big money to the wrong guy in Julius Randle. See, here's the problem, all right? Here's what we know about Julius Randle, all right? Now, we could run through game logs, and we can church it up, and we can waste everybody's time. I'm just going to succinctly boil it down to this. The problem with Julius Randle is that he's not built for New York. He's not built for New York, and let me back that up.
Go ahead.
Because that's a pretty strong indictment. You're not built for this city, Julius. And I'll tell you why. Because you were a superstar when the only people in the arena were maybe a few city dancers and maybe a few ushers. I don't even know why the ushers were there. There were no fans. So in empty arenas, you were all NBA, all right? The fans return. The playoffs come back to the Garden. Basically full house, energy palpable, pressure, no doubt, and you go invisible. You disappear. Now this year, you come in, there's some expectations, but you play poorly. You regress strongly, stark regression, back to really what you were most of your career before we got you. And now the fans, us, react to a dip in that performance, an obvious regression. You tell us to go F ourselves, all right? And now, this is where I'm done with Randle. And now he has committed the cardinal sin of a pro athlete in this town. He has abandoned his responsibility as a leader of his team and a pro athlete. Do you realize, Tiki, rhetorical question because I know you do, that 8 of the last 9 games, Julius Randle has not met the media.
Wow.
Now, we can say whatever we said. I said a lot of it about Carmelo Anthony, all of his deficiencies. Carmelo Anthony took every single arrow that was coming his way, absorbed them all. Took their, like a big boy, stiff upper lip, strong chin, never back down. My bad. I'm the leader. It's my team. Yeah. What does Julius Randle do? He leaves the arena. And you know what? The Knicks are complicit here. For the Knicks to not make him available to the media is absolutely pathetic. And you know what's even worse? He is now officially a detriment to to the rest of the team. There's a lot of young, first of all, he sucks right now. There's a lot of young, impressionable kids on this team. Now, lucky for the Knicks, R.J. Barrett's wired the right way. Even a bad night, he's a good kid. He's a pro. He gets it. He meets the media. But guys like Quickly, good kid as well. But there's a lot of young kids on this team who look and they say, geez, man, if Randle doesn't need to media, what the hell I got to? Why do I have to meet the media? Julius ducking out of his responsibilities. I'm going to do the same. So your best player, in quotes, in theory, is now setting an example that will retard the progress of this team. I'm going to tell you, I don't know who wants him. I know I don't want him. I don't know who wants him, but Julius Randle. And then you take over, and I'll shut my big fat mouth.
Dude, that's his passion. I love it, man.
This might be the last time we lead with the Knicks on this show because I don't think the Knicks will be back to 500 this year. The season's over. We're going nowhere. And I can accept that because last year there was an element of high overachievement based on the circumstances that we all know. But now, Julius Randle, you have to go. You are no longer wanted by us. You are no longer the guy we thought you were. You have to go. Tiki, your turn.
Yeah, so here's what I take from last year. It was an overachievement for sure by Julius Randle and the team, right? They made the playoffs, which is not something that I would have expected last year. They surprised us. This year, they come into the season, and we just want to see a little bit of the same or advancement. Just a little bit of the same or advancement. That's all you're asking for coming into this season. Because it's not like the roster was significantly upgraded. It wasn't like there was a great free agent signing. It didn't. The roster didn't get significantly better.
And stop telling me they got worse because Reggie Bullock's not here.
No, it's not that.
Come on, but you hear that.
I know you do.
Oh,
But
who cares about Reggie Bullock?
Yeah, they bring in Kemba Walker. He's a pretty good scorer at times. He can't play more than 30 minutes, as we know. Otherwise, his knees bark and he misses 2 months. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's a couple weeks.
It's sad, but it is what it is.
But he's a minus defender.
Yeah.
And so you cut yourself where you needed it most, which is defending, just to get some extra scoring, which isn't really relevant when you're getting blown out the way that you're getting blown out. The issue with Julius Randle, and I get what you're saying. You're 100% right. You cannot skirt your responsibilities to tell us what happened or explain yourself. Hey, Julius, how'd you only have 2 points in the half? How'd you have 4 on the game? Right? Why did you stop shooting when the team needed you to be aggressive at the most important time of the game? Because it wasn't out of hand at halftime. They were down, 4 at the half? It's not like they were getting blown out at halftime. They got blown out in the third quarter, which tells me that something happened in that locker room that wasn't handled by Tom Thibodeau. That's why I ask you who's most responsible, or the leader on this team. And the leader on this team is supposed to be Julius Randle. So what happened? We know what happened. He gets the tee right before halftime, and we're like, all right, well, he'll get cooled off.
Now 48 tries to calm down.
Look,
he shoves 48.
He comes out.
Fine.
He comes out of halftime.
I know.
He's still yelling at the damn referees.
No focus.
What are you doing?
No focus.
Like, seriously, I joked about going to have a drink. You probably should have had a couple shots at halftime to calm your ass down instead of coming out and being distracted and then getting blown out in the third quarter. So it's just, this team doesn't have an identity, and it doesn't have a leader to exercise that identity. And so all this hope and expectation that came off of last season is now being, I don't know, it's smashed in the fans' faces. Let me read you what Josh Hart said. Villanova great. Obviously, he was on the team last, scored 17 points. I think he was second leading scorer for the Pelicans last night. He said, this is his quote. Yeah. This is bad, man.
This is an indictment.
It was really like 6-on-5 out there because they were frustrated and missing shots. The crowd was frustrated, so they were booing them and giving us fuel. The booing of the Knicks was giving the New Orleans Pelicans fuel, which, by the way, the Pelicans aren't a good team this year.
They've actually played a little bit better. But I got you.
Continues. Usually on the road, the only guys you have are those in our locker room. I'm not saying the fans were on our side, but they weren't on their side either.
It's like the scene in Rocky IV. Yachts and yachts. Yachts and yachts.
Think about what they just
said.
The
proletariat has returned, folks.
I could sit here and just crush New York Knicks fans.
No.
Like, man, you guys are so wrong. Get behind your guy. I don't blame them, man.
No, crush
at
them.
all.
No way.
They are doing what they should be doing for a team that has no identity,
none,
and no fight in
and
them.
by the way, when the Knicks made a run, because everybody makes a run in the NBA, the Knicks fans put aside their anger and they tried to provide fuel for the Knicks. They got once the young guys came in. This starting lineup has been wretched the entire season. It's got the worst plus minus collectively of any team in the NBA.
Is that actually true?
Yes.
Wow.
And I know sometimes I'll make up some stats, but I'm a little bit wired, a little bit wound up, but that's true. And, the guy's not built for New York. We all go through points where we're not as productive for whatever reason. We're hurt, we're sick, family issues. We respect all that. Just because they're professional athletes making millions, they're not robots. They're not immune to things that infiltrate their life. They infiltrate mine like nobody, a regular, you. I mean, you're a little different with you, but Big Zoo on the other side. We have to deal with this stuff, and you deal with it. You deal with it as a human being, but you don't go out there and abandon responsibilities and put forth complete a non-effort. If I have to watch Julius Randle loaf up and down the court one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. I mean, it's one thing if you're clanking 2 for 13. Damn it, play hard. Julius Randle, he's abandoned his leadership post in terms of the post-game stuff, and he doesn't even play hard anymore. Julius Randle's got to go. He's got to go. 877-337-6666. All right. Jay is in Newburgh, up north a little bit. Jay is on the fan, Tiki and Tierney. What up, Jay?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Jay.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Yeah, I totally agree. Something has to happen. I mean, I'm not disillusioned with the fact that we need someone like Randall. Unfortunately, he's going through whatever he's going through. I think he just totally has let the accolades he received last year, the off season, kind of gets him, and he feels kind of entitled to a certain extent. Not sure what's going on with him, but this whole energy out there on the court is just not productive. And I agree with you guys that he's not setting a good example to the younger players, because they are looking at him, and it's unfortunate. So management either has to make a decision. They either have to talk to this guy, sit him down, and tell him, give him the right accent. Listen, this is how, this is not acceptable, or get rid of him. And we need to do everything humanly possible to bring in De'Aaron Fox over here. I say, listen, they can have either Randall or Toppin. Burks is a package. You pick.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Jay, there's ways that you're going to have to make the money match and all that other stuff, and we could do 1,000 trade scenarios on the radio. That gets to be a little bit boring, but the fundamental agreement point is that he's got to go.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the advanced statistics here, BT. 27.5% usage percentage for Julius Randle.
What is it now? I'm sorry?
27.5% usage percentage. It's obviously leading the team, but they're relying on him to be somebody that he's not.
Yes. Well, then that's coaching.
And so that's why I asked you the question.
I know.
Because Julius Randle, at times when he gets in the paint and he gives you that little bounce pass, it's like he's a pretty good distributor in the paint when people collapse on him. Like, he sees the extra pass. But
I agree with that.
But sometimes you want him to just shoot, be aggressive. And I feel like he's used wrong. He knows he's used wrong because of what happened last season. Last season, he was just like, all right, you got an open shot. You got 6 feet because they're not rolling out on you. Shoot it. And he'd knock him down at a pretty decent percentage. He's not making three-point shots anymore, and so he feels lost in his game. And that's why at certain points, he stops being aggressive, but the ball keeps going through him, BT.
Yep.
So when the ball is going through him and he's not shooting, he's just trying to find someone else who's going to take the shot, you get a 35-15 third quarter. Like, that's gross,
It's
man.
disgusting.
35-15.
It's repulsive.
I mean,
it's gross. And listen, by the way, the byproduct of him being misused is that Toppin's being misused, and I don't think that Barrett's being fully used properly.
I mean, I've given up. I'm not giving up on Toppin, but I can't watch him stand in a corner anymore.
But they also drafted the wrong guy. He's Kenny Walker 2.0.
I don't disagree, BT, but all he does on offensive possessions is stand in the corner.
I hear you, T.
They have the slowest pace, maybe the second slowest pace in the NBA.
I think it's the slowest.
I think you're probably right, but they play in the half court, and they
Mm-hmm.
have Obi Toppin, when he's in the game, standing in the corner, literally doing nothing.
Without a pure point guard.
With literally, Julius Randle's bringing the ball up the court, and Obi Toppin standing in the corner. What the hell do you think's going
If
to
they're
happen?
even on the court at the same time
Yeah.
together. 877-337-6666. Rich is up in Harlem. Rich is on the fan with Tiki and Tierney. What's up, Rich?
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Rich.
I mean,
Your voice sounds exactly how Knicks fans feel. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Because BT, I am probably a longer suffering Knicks fan than you.
How old are you, Rich?
I'm a 57.
Yes,
So
yes. You got me. Got me by a
barely-
decade.
I barely remember the first championship. I do remember the second championship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And this falls mainly on two people. And the number one culprit, which I don't think a lot of people talk about, you brought it up a bit at the beginning, that is Leon Rose. And I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
Any knowledgeable basketball person saw last year in the playoffs what is happening right now with Randle.
Mm-hmm.
That he is not built for New York. He is not a number one player. He cannot handle pressure. Everybody saw it. So tell me why in God's name did you sign this guy to a 4-year extension when you didn't have to?
Well,
This
it's
was
probably
the
called
last year of
desperate. You
his
know what, Rich?
contract.
It's probably called desperation. And sometimes when you're desperate, and I've been there as well, you misread the situation. You see things that you want to see, and you probably don't see things that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And the Knicks have been so desperate for a star in his prime that we overlooked some of those deficiencies, illuminated the great things. It's also easy to be fair. And listen, I'll raise my hand here. I thought it was a bit of obviously it's not, but I thought it was a bit of an aberration the way he played against the Hawks in the playoffs for a couple of reasons.
We
Number one,
explained it away a little bit.
I thought he was tired because he carried the weight and the burden of a team. He didn't have a lot of talent around him. I thought Fournier would help him out and blah, 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 Kemba. So I was worried about the way he played, obviously. But I didn't think that would be the fate for the rest of his New York Knicks tenure, which is what it's beginning to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess I was wrong too. My bad.
The challenge with evaluating him now, and this is for the Knicks front office, is who is he and who's he going to be?
No. Now we know who he is. He is a guy who's not built for New York. I'm done asking that question. Yeah. When you give us the finger, when you tell us to go F ourselves, and then when you avoid the microphone for 2 weeks straight and have multiple single-digit games, you are not built for this stage. And you know what? There's been plenty of guys who go 1 for 23, Yankees, Mets, even in big spots, as long as you hustle. I'm not going to say we'll give you a complete pass, but we'll understand it's part of the game, part of the flow of being a pro athlete. But now when you alienate us so aggressively, and now you wilt as a performer, now I have zero interest in ever. Now I'm rooting against him now.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm done with Julius Randle. It's over.
What a 365 days.
You mean 180. 180.
Yeah. No, 365 days.
It's over. But am I wrong?
ago.
Big Zoo, you're a Knicks fan. Am I wrong?
Yo, you're not wrong, bro. I was there last night, man, and just the effort that you're getting. I was there Monday, I was there last night, and just the effort in those two games. I mean, Minnesota lost in between. It was a little bit better, but still.
Yeah.
You're just seeing a team that doesn't care. They're giving up. Once one thing happens, they're done.
Yep.
They can't come back from it, and they give up on the game. Their coach is giving up on the game.
And they're taking their cue from the best player.
Yeah. Hold on.
Randle.
Can I get a 30? Who the hell do you know going to every Knick game?
Yeah, where you getting that scratch, Big
Chase
Zoo?
Bridge is where you got to be.
By the way, going to the big Rangers game tonight.
That's right.
With Carolina.
That's right.
Look forward to that.
I will be
Hey,
watching.
got to get it done.
Let's go. All right, listen. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with Randle. Nothing can happen to convince me otherwise because nothing will happen to convince me otherwise. They are dead as a team this year. We've got about 10, 12, 13 days trade deadline. Rip up the roster, maybe keep one or two pieces, go from there. But Randle's got to be shipped out. It's over. I don't think he can recover. And I don't think you think he can recover either. 877. And I don't think you trust him at all. And I don't think you respect him anymore. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the guy told us to go and F ourselves, and now he won't talk after games. I mean, that is the poison pill. Done.